So, as we all know, in mid-90s, the web arrived. That's where internet became really popular, and internet was given to all over the world. Everyone tried to use the internet. It radically changed the way industries work and fundamentally changed how people can interact and connect with each other. Since then, it's all about Internet of People. There is no things, it's all about Internet of People. People connect over the internet, they put a lot of data in it, stories, Wikipedia, web pages, and everything. Since then, Internet of Things has changed our world. Well, once again, our world is going to be changed through Internet of Things. So basically, anything which will be connected over the internet, and it can supply the data and then receive the data, that's going to be Internet of Things. It works the same way as how human behaves. For example, we have 5 sensors to listen, to hear, and so on. Similarly, we are going to have sensors in the thing, and it absorbs some information, and it's going to transform the information over the internet, and it's going to work that way. As I said before, our phone is a very good example. And then, for example, nowadays we have the IoT watches. So it understands what's our pulse rate, it understands what is our heart rate, and it can transform the messages to the hospital or to our relatives, in case any issues with our body. And then we can have smart lights, which we can operate over the phone, which is over the connection. Even the weight scale. Every day morning, I want to know what is my weight. Okay, I'm being very cautious about my health, so I have to step on it and then see what is my weight. I don't need to really look into what is my weight and then make a note of somewhere. It can be connected over the internet, and it can record on a daily basis, and then we can see a graph, what is our progress, and then we can take some action on it. Apparently, it never works for me.
Weight doesn't work. The scale doesn't work.
The scale doesn't work. And
this is Matthew.
Hello, Matthew.
Hello. Sorry,
Please.
I'm late.
We just started.
Okay.
Or you can take this slide. Thank you. And then another example is thermostat, where I can control the heating of my apartment. Let's say I have to leave to home maybe at 2 o'clock. I can turn on the heating from here. At home, my heating is turned on. By the time I reach home, the house is warm, and I enjoy the ambience there. So if I put everything together, I'll give a little story. I can have an IoT device, let's say the bracelet.
You might need a chair.
Let's say a bracelet, and it understands my regular life pattern. I wake up at 7 o'clock, I boil my kettle, and then I take a coffee, and then I take shower, and so on. So it understands the pattern using the machine learning that we saw in the earlier session. So now the IoT device has learned my pattern. In the real time, I'm sleeping, for 8 hours. At 7 o'clock in the morning, my IoT device, my bracelet vibrates. It wakes me up. I wake up. Automatically, IoT device knows that I woke up because I make a movement. There is a motion sensor which understands my movement, and then it gives a signal to my kettle because regularly I go to the kitchen area and then boil my kettle. So it gives a signal. My kettle is already turned on. It boils my water, and then I take a cup of tea, and then it gives a signal to the boiler because I'm going to take the shower, and then when I come out from the shower. Probably I have to leave the house, after getting ready for the office. And it can also talk to the windows. Automatically, the windows can be opened and fresh air can come in. Everything can be automated. So that's called as smart home. This is a typical example. So basically, it is connecting the unconnected. That is Internet of Things. So Internet of Everything. In this picture, you will see how our environment can be connected. using intelligent hospital, intelligent highways, intelligent factory, and so on and so on. I'll give a small example. I have a friend called Seamus, and he last month he went to South Korea, to a city called Songdo, Songdo. It is completely smart city. It has got traffic system, smart traffic system, smart metro system, smart bus system, and everything is connected to the smart transport system. Recently, he got stuck in his car because of an accident. Automatically, there is a signal that comes in his monitor saying that there is an accident. We are giving a best route to take so that you can avoid all the congestion area and then proceed with that. So, you can look it up in the Google, that particular city, Songdo, which is beautifully built with all the technologies that is surrounding. Although they have the higher pollution rate, but anyway, that's how it is. So, as we all know, why Internet of Things? It brings in efficiency, faster production, reduced cost. Therefore, we have a higher economic value, and of course, quality of life is improving. So, let us take a small snapshot. How large is the market, and what are the revenue opportunities that we have? By 2020, we will have around 50 billion devices connected over the internet. And that means the global spending would be 1.7 trillion by 2020. And that means all the industries are contributing, healthcare, insurance, banking, smart cities, etc. and etc. and etc. So all the IoT is all about hardware and software, which will be executing in it. So that means the sensor is there, and then the chips, which is the microcontroller unit, is there. So that will be around 38.41 billion sensors that will be used by 2022. So this is the from my investigation. I looked up in various articles, and I have received all these information. Before I continue, there are so many articles that I have looked up, and I tried to put as much as possible in the bottom, which later everyone can verify and read. And also thanks to Martin, because time to time I disturb him to pull some idea from his brain. And that is also, I have done some practical things with that.
I'll just give you some input on practical.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it is.
But there is input from me.
Okay.
What is the Internet of Things? So let us understand. Let's go into the deeper. What is Internet of Things? We are going to look at it. Look at some of the hardware devices, and I'm going to show you some of the practical stuff that I have built, which could be related to some of our insurance sectors or some of the general purpose sectors and so on. And then we are going to go in detail about the IoT insurance value chain, which I have thought of by reading all the articles and so on, and also through the discussion with Martin. So let us understand what is Internet of Things. So let us take a thing. It could be water bottle. It could be my this box. Anything that is in our surrounding environment. We should not consider a computer, laptop, because it does more than one thing, and it has so many functions. But that is not we need, because Internet of Things should be very very compact, and it has to be really low in cost. Therefore, we can put everywhere. But laptop has so many functions. Therefore, the cost is so high. We can't put laptop everywhere. So here I took an example, refrigerator. Just adding a computational device, which is the CPU. Our laptop also has a CPU, but it's more powerful. This CPU, here you see the microcontroller unit. It just processes like 2 bytes, 2 kilobytes, or 3 kilobytes, and so on. So that means you can store some program which can do the computational intelligence, and then it can perform some action. And Still now it is not Internet of Things. The moment we add the Wi-Fi connection in it, then it becomes Internet of Things. Now this particular thing can do some computational thing, and then I can connect over the internet and pass the data. So just to understand deeper, I have taken one example again, the refrigerator. We know the traditional refrigerator. It keeps things, all the objects which we put in warm. Cold. That's all. It doesn't do anything else. How about adding intelligence into it, so that becomes the intelligent refrigerator. It can tell you, when the door is open. It can tell you when the water is leaking inside the fridge, and all these things. Even now we have an intelligent refrigerator. Sometimes my refrigerator turns on, gives an alarm when the door is open. Not in my previous apartment. And then what is IoT, Internet of Things refrigerator? That means it can tell you, let's say the water is leaked in the fridge, and I have no idea, and I came to office. Automatically I get an alarm in my phone saying that your fridge is open, because the refrigerator is connected over the internet, and that sends the signal automatically to my phone. Just a small example. And then it can see maybe you can program everything in the IoT refrigerator to see what are the meals that you can prepare using the food ingredient that you have. This particular fridge is already available in the American market, but not in the Europe or Asian market. So it can do a lot of stuff. When your calories are more in the fridge, it can give an alarm. When you are in the deficiency of food, it can identify what is missing, what is your meal plan, and what is missing next to it, and it can even trigger an alarm to the Amazon and order the food, and then the next day you have the food which is waiting outside the door. How does it work? So we need an Internet of Things platform. There are various devices that are available, and each and every device has its own data format and its own way of conveying the messages. But then we can have a Internet of Things platform which can understand each and every data that is coming inside. It can transform and translate the data, which can be more understandable by the industry specific needs. Could be, let's say we have all Audi cars are connected over the internet, and it is talking to the IoT platform. And then the Audi, the main cloud database, can receive all the information about that car. It could be all the, each and every car has so many sensors, like brake detection or the air pressure in the tire, and so on and so on. So everything can be censored. And whenever there is a problem, that particular information can be sent over the IoT platform, and then it can be given to the service provider so that they can take an action when the event happens. So, to give a small example, let's say I'm driving a car, or some person is driving a car, automatically check engine light is coming. It is coming, let's say, from the brake system. The brake is not working, or brake is getting spoiled, or along the way. And similarly, there could be a lot of sensors which can understand what is happening in the car, and it can send the data over the IoT platform. Basically, there will be a diagnostic bus in each and every car which collects the data from all over the sensors in the car, and it can perform some sort of intelligence there to sort out the unwanted data. Only the important data can be transferred to the gateway, and it can be published to the internet. It can be pushed to the IoT platform. For example, Audi can have its own manufacturing, IoT platform. So, similarly, each and every car industry has their own IoT platform. It could be deployed in the IBM Watson or Microsoft Azure, so on and so on. So similarly, all cars are sending the data. And that particular car is also sent the data to the cloud database. When the brake is not working, there is always a threshold limit, like in which the brake will not work anymore. And that particular data will be sent, and in the cloud database, they can check with the machine learning whether it is below the threshold point or above the threshold point. And if it is below the threshold point, that means the car has a problem. And immediately they can send an alert to the car that your brake is not working anymore. In the IT industry, let's say production support department, whenever there is a problem, they always have a solution. Similarly, RD platform, they know what could be the potential problems that could come and what could be the potential solution that can be next to it. This is called as asset management system. And immediately after performing all the algorithms, she gets a message in her phone saying that your brake needs to be repaired or serviced. And then using the GPS IoT, the location can be monitored, and that also can be sent to the service provider, and they can see what are the service providers that are close by your location, and they can route you to the particular service provider which is close by, close proximity. That also means that there is enough time that is given to the service provider that they can be really ready with the parts that needs to be replaced in the car. And she can be diverted. She can go to the service provider, get the things repaired, and she can go home. So if you look at it, it's not about making a business out of it. It's more like a transforming from protection to prevention. So till date we are trying to protect, but with using IoT, it's a step ahead to prevent everything. And also constantly the manufacturing company is getting all the data. That means they can see, okay, this particular model of Audi is giving a lot of problems only in the brake, and then they can improve their service immediately for the next car deployment. So let's go into the IoT as such. IoT has sensors and actuators. Sensors is nothing but to sense the light intensity or to sense some object and so on. And actuators is something, the outcome of the device. For example, when I come inside the room, automatically my motion can be censored, and automatically the lights can be turned on. The light can be actuator, and the sensor's duty is to sense my movement. And it needs connectivity, of course. And that particular, for example, in the earlier case study where the brake is, the brake malfunction is being detected, that using the sensor, and it connected over the internet, and then it's sent to the IoT platform, cloud platform, where people or any other process, for example, that particular IoT device can trigger another IoT device, or it can also inform some people to take some right action. So these are the three put together, the major components of the Internet of Things. So I just listed out some of the sensors that are potentially used in this field. For example, motion sensor, position, proximity, GPS, temperature, humidity, gas. In Belgium we also have the gas connection. So gas leakage can be detected, and it can be the damage can be prevented, water, and so on and so on. So we are going to use, we are going to see some of the use cases using these kind of sensors. And when it comes to the connectivity, 4G, 3G connection, Ethernet, internet, and all these connections that plays in the picture, PAN, LAN, MAN, WAN, etc. and etc. So as I said before, when something is detected using the sensor, and it can be sent over the Wi-Fi or 3G or whatever, and then it can, as a result, a set of people can take an action. It could be insurance company can take an action, or it can trigger another process that can take an action, automated action. So the links can give more detail. So the IoT as such is a combination of hardware and software. Any company, any service, maybe Belfius Insurance, at some point they want to sell some home for the home protection, connected home. They will give you some IoT device, or they'll come and install the IoT device. If you see, so it will be a small hardware, and that particular hardware, has a microcontroller unit, very small chip, and they will also import the program unit, which will control which will take the inputs from the sensor, and it will make some computation in order to trigger the process and people in the process. So it's a combination of hardware and software. This is basically the circuit. Okay, this board is called breadboard, and this is during the development we will have to prototype everything. So we can't build finite model. We can't solder or something. We can have a small breadboard and put the connection and then make a circuit and then see how it works. And then to the microcontroller unit, you should also import your program, and then it will work. But we will see in detail there. One important point is hardware and software components must be designed together, like Apple. Apple has their own hardware and also their software. And when I know, for example, when I know what is my hardware, what is my software, that means it will work more efficiently than having an Android phone. For the Android is being controlled by Google, and the phone can come from China or wherever, and it has to work, but it won't work that efficient like what Apple is giving. It's the same thing. When you prepare your IoT device, you will have to make sure that your hardware is there and it's designed properly, and then the necessary software is installed in it. Basically, when this is a GPS tracker, this device. I will just give it to you. When I buy this device, this particular microcontroller unit, they also give the data sheet which says, there will be like 16 pins, and each pin is meant for what, and then I can understand, okay, this can be input, this can be output, and I can design. It can help my design faster. Without reading the data sheet, we can't design anything. So I have taken Arduino as my device, the microcontroller device, and I have used Arduino IDE, which I will show it to you, to develop the software and to compile the software, and then I can put that particular program into the Arduino. This is the microcontroller unit that I'm referring to. Let me quickly go. So this is the microcontroller unit at Mega 328. Okay, this is where the program will be embedded inside, and there is also another small processor which is at Mega 16U2. We will not be able to touch that. It's meant to control all the interfaces to the board, into the small Arduino board. So this is the Arduino board that I'm talking about. It's very simple. This is the microcontroller unit that I'm talking about. And this particular, we should not go into the detail of the board itself, because it's already connected, all the chips are there, everything is connected, only we need to know how to use it. And once we know how to use it, it's all about the circuits that you are making around it, and then the software that you are writing for a specific purpose. It is also having some sort of firmware. Firmware is nothing but a piece of code is already in the device, in the Arduino device. It meant to, the code meant to interface the Arduino to the external port and so on. So we'll not be able to change it. The only thing that we will change it is the program that we are writing, and we are putting it into the Arduino 328. So this is the typical Arduino integrated development environment where you can write your program, you can check if everything is fine before you put your program into the device. Like typical IDE, you have a compiler button where you can compile, where you can upload and create a new program. In Arduino, they call program as a sketch. So they will say, you have to write a sketch. That means you have to write a program. And then you can say, serial monitor, I will show you what is the purpose. It's nothing but before you deploy the device into the production, you can test it using the serial monitor. For example, I'm building a circuit to measure the heat or to measure the temperature, light. Whatever it's measured, it has to take some action. But then I can connect it to the computer to see what is the action that we can take based on the output. So basically, when I write my code, there will be a lot of programs. When I press verify and upload, it takes all the code that has to be taken and put it into the processor. First, it combines, it transforms, and then compiles. This is a typical C program. So C program has a lot of libraries, a lot of in the program you'll have to use a lot of functions. So for that you have to attach a lot of libraries. Sometimes the verify and upload it actually attaches all the libraries by itself, and finally it creates a .hex file which will be uploaded onto the Arduino board.
It's got nothing to do with each other.
Sorry? No, unfortunately not. So I'm going to demo some of the devices that I have built. Before that, I will show you so this is a typical C program which can be compiled, which can be installed into the Arduino device. So this program does nothing bigger than looking at what are the Wi-Fi connections which is around. So this is a CPU unit called ESP Node MCU 8266. Okay, I can install this program into the device, and it has got the Wi-Fi connection. And with using the pins that we see here, I can take some as an input from the sensor, some as an output which can be published to the IoT platform. Which we will see. I have worked with two IoT platforms, which I'm going to show it to you. It can give the information to the IoT platform, and using analytics, we can take some action over there. Actually, I'm not going to show you how to install program and so on. Maybe I'll show you. So this particular program is already installed into this device. Okay, I'm connecting through the port. That means it will get the charge over the laptop, and then it also gives all the output which is supposed to be given to the actual physical device into the serial. This is the serial port through this cable.
Something like connecting your watch to the laptop.
Right, yeah. So I have to be sure that the board is detected. This one is the Node MCU 8266 microcontroller unit, so which is already selected, and the port is recognized as COM6. So actually, so it is this one is working now, which is giving all the internet connections which is available in this room, in this building, for example. So it just gives everything. I'll just explain like in a minute. So while it's set up, we see that's a one-time program that will execute. Okay, when the board is connected, with the battery, this particular piece of code will be executed. That means all the setups you can do, and then the void loop, all the main logics, like continuously this loop is executing and it is checking what are the void connections and it is just pushing. So that's how the program structure will be in the C for this particular board. So I'll just remove this. This particular device is the GPS unit. Okay, so it is connected over the Arduino board. I can give the power signal here. Automatically it connects to the GPS. It tracks the location. For example, one of the example could be travel insurance. You go abroad, you take a car. Small example, you take a car, and also you have to take the insurance which is attached to the car. There will be always terms and conditions while driving. Maybe in Spain, you cannot go to Portugal, or in Iceland, you cannot go to the off-road. In case you make any damage, the insurance should know where exactly the event happened. It could be on the road, it could be off the road, it could be somewhere across the border, somewhere in Portugal and so on. They can put this device, and when you come back, it is also having the SD card here, which records all the movements, and it can tell you what you did with your car. Basically, when you submit your claims, they will say, "Oh, it cannot be paid out because you have violated this particular incident happens at this time when you moved your car from the on-road to off-road." This device, right now it cannot be connected because we have to really go out and place it for a few minutes, and then it sets the location, and then it captures the longitude and latitude along the way. Last week I have already taken the information by just going out the office.
What do you mean out? It cannot be within a building?
Right, it has to have the clear sky connection. So for example, when I executed, if you see V in this in the GP or MC, that means it's an invalid. There is no connection set. And then slowly it got the connection, and then I was able to record everything from this particular IoT device. So I'll show you the map. This is the file that was captured in the SD card during my exercise. I just uploaded the output file that was recorded in the SD card through using this device. So it can actually tell you, I was just standing there for a while and then trying to capture the signal and then walking around the building. I was just walking on the side, and at some point the rain started, so I had to really come into the office so the signal get disconnected. So it's a small example, okay? This is not a production, this is not a very good device where we can use it in the business and so on, but this is a start. But from here we can think of different products, how we can transform, the IoT into our business and so on. And for this, GPS logger. This is a program that is already uploaded into this device. So if you see, there are two boards in it. This is the Arduino board that I have shown to you. And this is the GPS board. Okay, they already made this board which can support the Arduino board. So that's why I can fit together. Otherwise, I'll have to make a lot of connections to make it to work. But it's very handy. So this is a program, and if you want, for example, if you want, I can share this code with you just to take a look later. So whenever I buy a board, there'll be a lot of instructions in the board. They will also give their libraries that I can use it readily. So I don't need to investigate a lot of things. So that's what typical IoT companies, IoT service companies, they do. They have a lot of devices and they know all the instructions and everything. They have all the sample coding. When you ask for a device, they'll just make it within half an hour, 1 hour. Because they have all the templates and everything.
That's a data sheet that you said?
Right, that's a data sheet, and it comes with the software libraries that has to be installed. So I'm going to quickly I'll make a small device which can capture the motion, but it's not about capturing the motion, but it's about sending the data over the internet, and it can hit the IoT platform. And we can see it in the IoT front end, what is the data that has come in, and then you can take some actions like sending a messages or SMS or mails or calls or something. That's what I'm going to demonstrate now. The thing is, here you see the circuit that I have built in to understand the motion sensor, for example. It's not really complex, it's just the basics of the electronics, and then we can build our own device, because all the difficult part is embedded into it. Only thing we have to read the instruction and build our own product, that's all. So this is the sensor. Okay, it's a cheap sensor because I'm cheap. We can put that, we can buy different sensor which can be attached to the belt. For example, workers' compensation product. Basically, insurance company, the manufacturing company or any sort of companies, they have to insure all their employees during their work. In case one day I was running, Martin said you should not run because it's a workers' compensation product.
It's not covered. No, it's true.
But
you're not supposed to run
Inside the office?
inside the office. No.
Yes, but how do we detect? Because if something happens to me, let's say I'm working in the airport or I'm working in a thermal power plant or big manufacturing industry, I'm not supposed to run inside the factory because there are many heavy things that is going on. If something happens to me, my insurance company, the insurance company which I am covered, they have to pay out my claims. But then how do we detect this kind of extreme behavior of the employees? So we can put an IoT device in with a belt, and it can constantly look at my movement. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm just doing it. It can see all sort of movements and then push the data to the IoT platform. And the insurance company or some other service company, they can pull out all the data, they can perform the analysis, and then they can give a detailed report that you cannot do this, you cannot do this. It's, as I said before, it's not about protection anymore, it's going to be prevention in the future. So we are going to prevent our employees, plus we are going to reduce our claims. That's the ultimate goal as well. So I'm going to quickly build this device. So I have the motion sensor which is coming outside, and this is the CPU unit, and this is the relay. Basically, I haven't seen what is the relay is, but I try to use this relay. I will turn it off.
Are you sure with this? Asking you
I think you have to ask me.
Today's session is in Shabbat. Watched in America thermometer and say, well, it's still in
Electronic communication.
Om zien wat hier doet, onder het scherm zal zijn. Ze plakken de neus erop. Dat is Michel. That's what Michel would be interested in.
He was there when we were starting the session, but I think he went for a meeting or something.
Give me a second. Because
A nephew of mine is running a green care company, a big one. And you know, they have this kind of things, but the big issue is comparing this because they have Internet of Things in their machines, they have Internet of Things in their cars. And the question is how to match these things, because he says the information we get from the machines, time running, temperature, blah, 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 blah. This is one thing, and the other thing is on their trucks, tractors, and so on. And it's very interesting, they say, but the thing is you have to match them, and that's very, very difficult, according to him.
I think the backbone of all this is these are all devices to collect data, right?
Yes.
How do you slice and dice the data and get intelligence out of it?
Yeah.
Is the most important part.
Companies selling that said you could be invoicing automatically, but it's not the case. Or you could be checking your personnel whether actually, you know, the car was there and probably the machine was there, but did the machine actually do the job? Because they can set on a measure and say, okay, we've done it, and yeah, like green care for grass, it's not that hard. You say, I've done it, and nobody to prove.
JP.
But it's about.
So I'm going to use JP's internet.
Oh, okay.
So he's turning on the Wi-Fi now. So meanwhile, I will show you the program that has been. So I'll explain you the IoT platform now. So this is a program that have been written in order to detect the sensor and make an alert over the email.
It's not GDPR compliant.
No.
So you would see these three lines, which is trying to connect to an API platform, api.carriots.com. This company is being really popular now. It's bought by another company, and now the name has been changed to Altair Smart Code, which I will show you to you. And this is the specific API key that I have to use to connect to the platform. And this is my device name. I can have many devices, and also I can have a different API keys to connect to the platform as such.
So what is the context of what we are trying to do?
We are trying to identify the motion and then send out to the trying to capture the motion and then process it and send the data over the internet and publish it to the IoT platform. From there, we are going to trigger an email, for example.
So it's like theft, let's assume.
For example, theft
Security of a home.
or even the motion detector that I was referring to. We have to write a lot of computational logic inside to understand the type of motion and so on. It's open-ended actually.
Yeah.
So this is a program. This is the JSON request that will be constructed, and this particular JSON request will be hit into the IoT platform through the API keys and so on. So this is the platform that I'm referring to, Altair Smart Code. All right. I have to perform series of steps, to construct the project here. I have to create the project and then the services, groups, assets, and then here comes the devices. Let's say it's a motion detector device. I have to add a device and then give the mandatory parameters and so on. And then I have to give the rules. And here I just put a small rule to send an email. It could be any complex rules, or it can even trigger another IoT device, or anything much more than that. We can try and use. So have a free subscription for some time. I'll just go to the data that can be streamed, and we can see. So Dinesh is going to go. It's going to detect now. Hello. So
Yeah, connection.
is it connected? I'm just checking if this particular, it's turned on now because I turned on the device, whether it is connected to the internet or not. Is it?
Yeah, one device connected. Okay.
This building is a alarm system.
Actually, the time is 17. Dinesh movement is already detected. So that's why you see a record at 17, which is 5 o'clock. I must have received an email. Yeah, I have received an email. All time smartphone. So this is the email that I set up. I just close this and try to check once again. And the data is being published to the IoT platform. This is the IoT platform. You would see the data layer here, which is at 17:01, and we can see a new mail coming up here. Yeah, there is a new mail here. So such a small device can make magic. I mean, if we use it in the right way, it can help, it can protect basically and prevent. So I'll turn it off.
I was challenging because I said, you could make a device as an insurance company. Everybody heard about the Charlene project. Some people probably heard about it. We're going to help people to live longer in their own home, and we put motion detectors there. That's good, but what we also could do is, as an example, give them a small motion detector that somebody can attach to the rollator. Yeah? And it's just measured when the rollator is horizontal or vertical. That's something crazy, but you know that if an elder person is walking around with a rollator, the moment, because the rollator doesn't fall down, a walking stick sometimes falls down, which gives a false hit. But you could also put a small device on the rollator, and when the rollator is falling down, you could get an alarm there, and you could set an alarm to anybody. Even it could be used in houses for elderly people, where people are walking around with the rollator, and so people have to watch them every time, but you don't have to do it actually when there's a garden or whatever, and people are walking around. The moment the rollator falls down, there's a serious thing happening. So it could be an advice also added to the Xiaomi platform instead of pure motion detectors, because motion detectors are just hanging there. And with something like a small device, you could help people. It's just a detail.
Yeah, we can make a lot of things, and
should be something smaller than this box. It will be something.
Normally what happens is we prototype everything, and then once everything is finally, the hardware and software is finalized, we just give it to the production unit, and then in the end it will become a very small device because they know how to manufacture it in a compact way, and then they will give it to us. I just would like to quickly show another small device. It's not a really complex one. Basically, I wanted to explain another platform, IoT platform, which is called Thinger. It's a basic platform. Okay, we can't even compare it to the Azure IoT platform or IBM Watson IoT platform or Google Cloud and so on. In the same sense, what Martin says, for the helping the elderly people, you can also give a small device when the elderly person is having some sort of panic attack, and he or she can push the button. That means a message is sent to their relatives or insurance companies or some police or whatever they can send. In that sense, I have built this device. This is a push button that I have as a sensor. So as soon as I pushed, that means the whole chain is working now, whether the internet is connected. Yep. Okay. So it's connected over the internet, the data is being sent, and it's diverted to the Thinger IO. That's how I have done the programming here. So you see the devices. Actually, it is monitoring the real-time data. I should also receive a mail. Let's take a look. Yeah. So Thinger has sent a mail, but it's a basic. So it can be a phone call. It can be anything that can be in the process. In fact, could you please push another thing? So you would see one more. Not this. Yeah, pushing. You would see my bytes has been increased. Once again. So on the fly, everything over the internet, because this is a small device and it is meant to work for only specific purpose. It's not a computer, but it has some intelligence, computational intelligence. It's meant to be for only single purpose, and it can be very faster. Such devices can be helpful anywhere, even in medical or military. We always all manufacturing industries are focused on the cost. They have to reduce the cost. But in case of military, they are not going to worry about the cost. They are going to be worried about the performance and the power. So it is based on the purpose, to find a middle ground and to work on that. In fact. So any questions so far? Now we are going to focus only on the insurance areas, where Martin can also help us giving some ideas and so on.
So do we, the point that we discussed earlier, the data that is collected from all this needs the sort of a churning that has to happen in the back.
Right, yeah.
That's another backbone of this.
Right. So that is what the big data analysis will come into the picture. There will be huge data that will be collected in the cloud platform, and then we have to pull those data, perform the analysis, sort it out, and then take some action. So that will be the in the end-to-end journey, that will come in the really the end point, in fact. So let us focus on the insurance now. One second. Oh. Just remove this. Okay, right. Actually, my device is not working anymore. Okay, I can use the.
I think you have to reconnect it to IO now again.
Yeah.
Go to drop down, then devices, manage.
It has to be plugged in while you're connecting, is it?
Then switch to generic. Don't know why, but if you click on it, it's there. Click
I
on
will
it.
click. Okay.
Yes. And now I think it's connecting.
Okay, anyway, it doesn't, never mind.
Yep.
So, from the insurance context, each and every insurance companies all over the world have problem with the competition. For example, a lot of startups are coming now. Very big insurance industries or banking industries, they already have their legacy to carry, and before they make any major move, they'll have to think over a lot, because for the startup, they don't have any legacy to carry, and they can make their decisions quicker, and for them the impact will be very less when compared to the bigger insurance and banking sectors. Of course, growing pressure on margin. in terms of reducing the cost and increasing the profit. Because in the insurance sector, claims in one of the area where a lot of claims can happen at certain point, or fraudulent claims can pop in much frequently. That could be one of the reasons. As an insurance company, they are trying to do everything. They are trying to implement robotics process automation, which we do in Belfius Insurance, and then bringing in artificial intelligence into picture, putting in chatbot and voice bot and so on, and also the machine learning and so on. But at least Belfius Insurance is looking at the chatbot at this point. That is also one of the plus point for us, which we are going in the right direction. But then Internet of Things can really boost the operational efficiency by leveraging the digital technologies. So that's what our point at this point. So it's going to transform, and it's going to be the main levers of transformation and growth of the insurance industry. Just in the insurance context, we see, from the article that I've read and also I understood, we all see that smart home, connected car, connected health will be the major area to play. Smart home. Recently, I have moved to a new apartment, and I tried to take all the energy suppliers. I tried to fix the water provider and everything. I got the connection from the electro bill. They said you need to pay only 50 euros. In that 50 euros, there is also 5 euro component that I have added, which is meant to be for the IoT smart home connection. I said I'm not going to use it because I don't want that, because I was thinking that maybe 5 euros could be impacting my budget a lot. As I said, I'm cheap. And then they said, you try before you pay anything. That's what they said. Just try for a month and see how it works. I tried for a month, and it's really amazing for me.
It's too much.
Yeah, I was able to use my mobile. I can turn on my heating, and my wife can turn on the heating from wherever, from the bed or whatever. And it really, makes our life really comfortable, I would say. And then I said, I'm going to take this 5 euro IoT every month, and it helps me a lot. On the other hand, all the the devices, let's say leakage, water leakage, or theft, and so on. There are devices for that, which is attached in the same package from the electro bill, which gives more value-added services for us. And that's really amazing for us to go for that particular services. And connected car, we all know how telematics works. Usage-based premium and so on, a lot of things, a lot of advantages. And then connected health. Connected health in the sense, it can, IoT device in the body can understand what is my insulin level. And it can pump the insulin whenever the insulin level in my blood that goes down. And that means I'm more protected. I'm more, my health condition is more protected, and all the issues that can come if I don't check, that can be prevented. So just to give some numbers, okay. This is the number is from the is global, okay. It's referred all industries over the global. Connected car revenues would be 24% growth. So compound annual growth rate would be 25% by 2022. And then for smart home, it's going to be 50% by 2019. And connected health will be tripled, whatever devices that are selling, it will be tripled by 2019. So that means there are a lot of gap that has to be filled now by the industries, by the manufacturing industries, by the banking sector, insurance sector, even from the service providers.
So in the connected car, it is the automobile manufacturer who does, plan the device at the moment, right? It is about how the data can be used by the insurance at this moment, isn't it? Because currently it is not available unless you buy the data from the automobile manufacturer.
No, I think they're testing it about even Corona did that thing.
So they give a device for the.
Yeah.
So it's like you entice the customer to say that put this device in your car,
Yeah.
and we will reduce the insurance by €5. Let's assume. Only
Corona
then,
is drive as you pay. You know how it works?
Yeah.
Corona.
how many mileage you have?
Yeah.
Mileage. Because I have subscribed for the IoT in my car,
Yeah.
which is 2 year. I have to pay €130, but then I can manipulate my car on my own. But other than that, it is not connected anywhere else. I have a connection to the car and do something, but none of my driving statistics or anything goes to the insurer.
That's what you think.
Unless they have sold it.
How do you think of make profit on cars?
I will know from the
At
next
least
video.
in my investigation, Italian market is, connected car market in Italy is
Very
is
much.
growing really high actually. So almost they are at 40% cars are connected. And even if you see from the studies, it already shows the maturity has been improved for connected car than smart home and connected health. So yeah, this is what we conclude. Yesterday was nothing. Today is connected car. Tomorrow is going to be health and smart home. In the longer run, other property and casualty, motor insurance products and life business will also get impacted, and it will also be pulled into the IoT space.
From a Belfius Insurance perspective, is there any of these IoT that is being tried out? Or?
The one thing which is the only one I know is about Charlene and the motion detector.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one I know, and it's still not on the market yet. But in a few weeks or months, I heard the whole Charlene platform with this motion detector will be
So it's on the market now.
Yes, I've seen the devices. There are 6 devices. They're not that big. No? They put it in a beautiful device.
Right.
But Raja was chatting us, and I went to Michelle, and we were thinking about what would an insurance company be thinking about. About things to like kind of design locks for your bicycle. Expensive bicycles, sometimes for a few thousand euro. Also electric bikes, and probably I think it already exists that. For instance, if my bicycle is stolen, sometimes happens.
You can track it. I think.
Yes, not only track it, we can also know your bicycle wasn't closed at the moment. Because we know from your system that it was open.
So you can't pay for the claim. You don't have to pay for the claim.
Yes.
It's not protected.
We're cheap also.
You're giving ideas.
It's not about preventing it, it's about not paying. That's about it.
That's what insurance is all about.
That's all about not paying.
That's how the margin is made.
Yes, right.
Right.
Well, the other things are just marketing model.
Because I remember a few years back there was a DVD ad about a bull on the road. Shit happens, and a person comes to the agency.
It was beautiful, about the webcam.
Yeah. So
You know the issue about that?
dash cam that.
No, but you know the issue about that?
No. Privacy.
It's very beautiful. No. It's very beautiful. It was a simple dash cam. Dash cam, and it monitored everything. And the first accident that happened with that, the guy went to an insurance broker and he said, "Look, everything is on the dash cam." And the broker said, "That's nice." And he connected it to his personal about 150 megabytes because it's a film. And he says, "That's nice, but I have to send this to Brussels. 150 megabytes. Uh-oh."
You have to physically go and hand it over.
Right. Because there's an interface, and you only there's about 10.
Yeah.
Do not accept WeTransfer or other ways to communicate with that. It's all security, blah, blah, blah. So there was no way at all to send this information from the broker to the insurance company. So actually what they had to do is put it in an envelope, this camera, and send it through the postal service, and people had to watch. So it's really crazy. It's a good idea, but people were not thinking end to end.
Yeah.
And how many cases did we have?
I think 6 or 7, and then we finished, and we said to the brokers, "No, we stopped the whole project." It's a very nice idea, but
Maybe 3, 4 years or 5 years back, it was still not mature.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
now
was too
it's-
early.
Yeah,
no,
it's too
the
early.
things is now you've probably seen some guys with the motorbike with the camera
Yeah,
on.
everybody has it on the helmet.
Yeah, but you know how this works? It doesn't film unless there is a normal motion. And only the moment you slow down very quickly, then the camera starts recording.
Constantly record.
Right. And it's also now with the expensive dash cameras, when you're driving 120 kilometers out the air, it doesn't do anything. It's only if there's an exceptional motion that it's recorded.
And it's sure because I have dashcam and it's full of files, but when you have there's a sensor in, when you have like an accident and a sudden motion, it locks the file so it doesn't get overwritten by the next.
Yeah, kind of. And you know the guy with the motorbike, and I think it's a Sony one, I think, dashcam, and it's on a motorbike. And actually, if there's a segment he said you want to get rid of the normal files, you have to shake it. Yeah, it's really, you have to shake it, and then only the special files are saved, and all the rest is done, because there's a disconnect. You really have to shake it a few times. That's how it works.
Otherwise, it's cyclic records, right? For
Yeah,
last 5
Some
days.
people just use the dashcam to film their road trip, so that
But
would
it's
be
the same
if it's
thing.
all.
And if you don't shake it, it's still there, but there's an SD card in it, so it's limited.
Yeah, of course.
But it can be cyclic recorded, right?
Yeah.
Last 5 days will always remain.
Right. Yeah, that's about like it's outdoor cameras. You have the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't see for the moment, we were thinking about, except for this motion detector and so on, we don't see a lot of cases where the insurance company, we had the test with Corona with this box in the car, nobody bought it.
Mm-hmm.
It was how many years ago?
Yeah, 3-4 years ago also.
Yeah.
And it was huge.
Because what that helps is to know the driver, the driving pattern,
Yes.
and to give surcharge for people who are high risk and for reducing people who are
Right.
safe drivers, right? That's the
No, it was about kilometers. No, yeah.
Oh, it was about kilometers.
About kilometers, yeah.
I'm saying this can be used to
Yeah.
do that also.
I don't see anybody using as another insurance company also in Belgium this kind of Internet of Things. Could be interesting, for instance, for like freezers and fridges. If it's open, it gets signaled. So because now, if you leave your fridge open,
Efficiency and the energy is waste.
yeah, that's insured, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you leave by accident your door open, your
Yeah.
freezer and everything is melting down.
Right.
In the insurance value chain, there are various advantages through IoT can be benefited. Let's say underwriting. I have a big building to be insured. The complete building cannot be assessed properly by any expert, by any human, in fact. For example, the top view can be damaged, or the area value can be damaged, but you cannot make an assessment properly and make the premium for the particular cases. Using the IoT drones, it can fly over, it can capture the image, it can do the analysis using the machine learning, and it can detect some of the difficult, the damages, and then it can push the data, and the underwriter can have all the details, and the underwriting can be done very easily and also efficiently to avoid future risk as well. And the claims.
But it's about sprinklers version 2. Because you know how it works. When you have a factory and there are no sprinklers in it, insurance premium is X. When you put sprinklers, it's X minus a percentage. Yeah, that's work.
Right.
Actually, it's this kind of sprinkler version 2.0. Really?
Yeah.
Probably in the future, the insurance company will ask factories to put a lot of things in their building to detect.
And then their premiums could be less because you are trying to prevent yourself. You're being ready.
Or if there's anything wrong, detect it in a very early stage. Like water leakage. Soon you detect this, the
Earlier than that, yeah.
And in terms of claims, for example, the accident can happen anywhere. By the time the insurance company goes and investigates and sending the experts and service provider and etc., you will have like a lead period of like maybe 1 or 2 weeks or more than that. But using again the flying drones IoT, physically I don't need to go as an insurance company, but my IoT device which can fly and take all the pictures of the accident, and it can immediately send the data, the pictures and all the data that has received, that has captured, can be sent to the IoT platform, insurance IoT platform, and it can be analyzed. probably in 5 minutes your claims can be registered and it can also be approved.
The other sort of inspection is with your lens, smart lens.
Right.
So a person travels around, goes to that area, and he gets into the building and checks the inspection, and the person back office who's sitting at office can actually view what are the damages, and that makes it easier.
Right. And even if I have a car and I'm trying to insure with Belfius Insurance for next 3 years, that means with all the IoT sophisticated technology, over the 3 years, everything can be captured, and then after 3 years, even if I stay with Belfius Insurance, my premiums can be calculated perfectly because the risk has been assessed and it has been captured over the period of time through all the IoT channels, and it can be useful. Maybe the person is moving to another insurance company, but the data is still here. That means insurance company can also behave as a data company, and they can share the data by getting some fees from the other company. They can work, they can make a small ecosystem among us.
I think there you have it, GDPRs.
So connected insurance, exactly what I referred before with the new ecosystem that we can build. And also there are a lot of IoT platforms like IBM, Watson, they are specializing in specific industries, and Google IoT platform, they are also specializing in specific industries. All these small players that comes into the picture, they are bringing in an IoT platform. With everything together, we can work together, because as an insurance company, we don't need to build something on our own. We can use the facility from the ecosystem that we are choosing. Could be AWS IoT platform. We just need to use it. It will be kind of a plug and play model. Here, connected car is something everyone knows. They have been talking about the connected car for some time. Some of the advantages would be stolen car tracking, automatic roadside assistance in case of crashes, and then remote service, vehicle updates, etc. and etc. So many functionalities. The important thing here is the world gross written premium would go for 50 billion euros by 2020. That is the estimation. While we are somewhere in 10, that means it's going to be multiplied by four times. That means again there is a gap. Everyone has to play in that field and try to benefit from this 50 billion euros. I'll just give a small example. Let us say I have a car which is in the street, and it has got the internet connection. Similarly, there are so many cars that is also connected to the internet, and then we have a traffic system which is also having the internet connection. Each and every object has the dedicated short-range communication channel, which, since it is a dedicated short-range communication channel, that means I don't need to go over the internet. I can even connect, my car can connect to your car, and your car can be connected to the traffic system and so on. And then, on the other hand, each and every object has its own modem and IoT device in it, which will be connected over the internet through the 3G, 4G, whatever network that is available, and that can be pushed to the cloud, and the processes and the necessary actions can be taken, or for example, the insurance company can see how the behavior of the driver and so on and so on. That can be used for the premiums as well. So some of the connections that I mentioned: car to cellular network, car to telematics service provider, car to cloud, car to infrastructure, etc. For example, we can give a dynamic premium to our customer, because in the future it's not going to be a product for everyone. It's going to be a product that is customized for a person. That will be the future. We had also seen in the presentation from Yells, the future will be customized for each and every individual. So that will be the focus of the insurance companies as well as for the banks. Using the IoT, we can measure the mileage, speed, the behavior of the driver, and the behavior of the car, and the premium can be, the risk factor can be detected. There could be a risk contour. Using that, we can assess the premium and so on, which is going to be a real-time usage-based premium. So this particular numbers will give the IoT connection that is going to be. So if you see the embedded connectivity, that is the IoT connectivity. So till date it will be it is 18%, but then it's going to grow to 56 and 63%. On the other hand, if you see, almost till date you see 65% has no connection. So that's going to be diminished over the time. That means some connection will be there in the car, and the majority of the connection will be the IoT connection, which is going to be 63%. Connected home for insurance company, the most expensive part of the business is handling homeowner.
The ladies' party somewhere.
Homeowner claims. That means insurance company have to focus on the cost by being more proactive and less reactive. Unfortunately, being proactive is very costly and expensive. Because in this example, you would see 51% of homeowner claims are due to wind, hail, and weather, which cannot be anticipated, and therefore there is a cost of $20 billion a year. But using the IoT, that can be predicted and that can be anticipated. For example, all my water devices in the home, washing machine, dishwasher, the pipes, the main walls, sump pump, and everything can be connected to the IoT leakage detector. And when the event happens, the service provider can come and fix it, or if no one is there in the house, automatically they can close the main wall and no damages happen. That means we are protecting the home, and the claims will be less in this case. At a very high level, not only water leakage, but also theft and fires can also be there, which can be protected. So here it's more like a prevention than protection. So we prevent the fire not to happen. And again, from the numbers standpoint, by 2020, there will be 5 times growth of smart homes in billions. So that's going to be 700 million homes will be connected by 2020.
10%.
The water issue, especially water coming into the house from outside. Not a water leakage by pipes, but water coming from outside. That's quite expensive sometimes.
Okay.
And so you have to build the detectors, not on the pipes or the machines, but in the house.
Yeah.
Probably will be in the future, somewhere detection in the house and between the walls and so on, but not in the near future.
We went to a friend's place in India where he has a big plants and pots, and the entire drip irrigation is controlled from his mobile.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you guys.
I mean, what it says.
We have water enough.
No, it's irrigation of water when it drops down. You can put, it already exists.
So he can schedule it.
Yeah.
Srini, global head of insurance, he showed me his house and he has lots of plants and all of it is controlled from his mobile. So he can schedule it whenever he wants. Even if he's traveling abroad, he can tell, okay, I need water in this plant.
Which is very handy.
Yeah.
During
Gardener now, he's sacked.
That job is gone.
Yeah. When we started the presentation, I was giving a small example about the bracelet, how it helps me to wake up and then boils my kettle and opens the curtains and doors and so on. We can also think of do we really need this? We can also do it by ourselves, which we have been practicing till date. But then on the other hand, the same device, while I'm sleeping, can detect my irregular heart rate, and it can inform the hospital and any other service providers or whatever, like police station and so on, and the lives can be saved. Unfortunately, a lot of heart attack patients die while sleeping because they don't know what's happening in the body. But we can detect it using the device with the watch, IoT watch, and the patient can be, the person can be saved. And again, in terms of numbers, huge growth by 2019. But I'm not able to find something which is beyond 2019. But from 2015 to 2019, there is a heavy number of numbers, like number of sold wearable devices. It's 245 million at this point, so it's going to grow a lot. So what could be the future of car insurance, which I have already explained. Let's give a small, let me give a story here. This person is trying to ride his car and going somewhere. He has an accident. So he is parked in the right spot because you see the stop, the car is parked in the right spot, but then the other guy, probably he's like me, just crashing into the other one. Both are talking and they're checking if everything is fine. I mean, at least there is no personal damage. This guy just goes back to his car and automatically there is a call that is coming in which says we have detected an accident in your car. Please take a moment, just be seated for 2-3 minutes. We are going to get back to you. And then he is relaxing while this guy is trying to connect the customer care. Of course, customer care never works. And he's trying to reach even the connectivity and everything. And the insurance company is sending the drone to inspect the accident. And it is taking all the pictures. And he's just looking at it. And he's smiling. Automatically, he receives the pictures of the accident just to reconfirm that if the pictures are taken from this accident zone. He's checking everything. Automatically, is approving the claim. And the insurance company is, they sent a Uber car to this guy. Just go to your destination, we will take care of everything. So the claim process is finished.
That has transformed customer experience.
Right. So that's how I see it from various studies, but it may not happen tomorrow, but it will definitely happen at some point.
The expectations of the customer are increasing.
Right. Yeah. So, in general, what is it for insurers in terms of all the new digital technologies? One could be the omni-channel. So there will be a lot of channels, but everything will be connected to each other. There are several companies who are working with several channels, which is not connected, which is not really efficient from the performance standpoint and operation standpoint. Artificial intelligence, the human judgments can be replaced by the machine learning algorithm. For example, claims processing, underwriting, those can be automated. Even the claims processing, we don't need to investigate a lot of simple claims, which can be done by the artificial intelligence machine learning algorithm, finding a boundary point and then approving the claim by itself. Pay as you drive, using telematics and also the Internet of Things. For the blockchain, we have already seen how it helps the underwriting and the claims by using the smart contract automation. And then big data analytics, which can be used to personalize products, forecasting trends, upscaling, cross-scaling, etc. and etc. And then drones and satellites to inspect the building, to assess the risk, and maybe some of the hazardous building like a power plant and so on, where a human cannot go and inspect in each and every corner. That can be used. That can be done by the drones and satellites. So this is what I had today to discuss with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think it's a great